Stay bow.
Yeah.
Oh no. Are we live? Is the radar whirring?
We've been live, like always, recording for the past 60 hours.
Oh boy, and we're just now tuning in, folks. Welcome to Werewolf Radar, the world's premier paranormal preparedness podcast. My name is Jordan Dahl.
I am Meatball.
I'm Roger Norquist, and we're recording at 3:11. What's the color of your energy?
Today's episode of Werewolf Radar is brought to you by the Monstroco Proving Box. Simply insert your hand into this ornate carved box of blackest elm to test your worthiness. Those deemed worthy will keep their hand and their sanity, while those in whom the box senses vileness shall never be spoken of again. Not even in this ad. Monstroco! What the fuck?
What the fuck? When am I to use this?
Well, when it's time to prove yourself.
Oh yeah, like in front of a lady or a dog.
Yeah.
Anytime your mother comes to you and demands that you actually are the savior of the universe.
Yeah, anytime your worthiness comes into question. Just jam your hand in the proving box and then say, ha, what about now? Unless, of course, you're taken by the proving box.
In which case you'll never be spoken again, even in this ad.
Mm-hmm. I want to take the speaking skull first and speak through the hole in the back of its head so that my words come out of its mouth.
Ooh, good use of it. I like it.
It does make it.
Does that sound good? Okay. I'm going to do it. I want to talk to you guys today about the Hibagon, which is, for all intents and purposes, Japanese Bigfoot.
Ooh, I like a Bigfoot no matter where it's from.
I like it a Bigfoot. Hibagon, or Hinagon, is a Japanese version of North America's Bigfoot, said to live on Mount Hiba in Hiroshima Prefecture. Not much is known about the Hibagon, but some say that it is a quiet beast that is said to run from four-armed residents. Sorry, wait, what?
Like a...
So we're
like
back to Goros.
Yeah, it runs from any Goros. It was said to have ran from four armed residents. I see.
Okay.
And then hunt
I
them.
would run from both four armed residents and a four-armed resident.
And four-armed residents, right. Like all hominids, they have a unique stench that is said to smell like decomposing flesh. Well, not all hominids, surely. Guys.
Yeah, come on.
This is from cryptids.fandom.com, and I got to tell you, they are not their editorial skills are not what I've come to expect from them. Hibagon is a reddish brown or black in color, sometimes reported as having a patch of white fur on its chest or arms, a little bit like the skunk ape. It is said to be a foul-smelling creature, again, like the skunk ape, with the face covered in bristles, a snub nose, and glaring, intelligent eyes. The face is sometimes said to be long and somewhat protruding rather than flat like a human's, and the head is often reported as proportionately large and shaped somewhat like an inverted triangle.
Ooh, a reverse pyramid scheme.
Yeah, well, generally speaking, you get...
Yeah, it usually doesn't go wider.
People talk about the Bigfoot having kind of a pointed head. So this is kind of the opposite of that, which is interesting.
Kind of like
a chin situation.
Shoot, I forgot what that animal was, but anyway, yeah, it's very rare to have such features.
Yeah. Hibagon is much smaller than its North American counterpart, being most commonly reported as around 5 feet in height and estimated as weighing about 180 pounds, which feels like a very American thing to do. It'd be like, our Bigfoot's big as hell. He smells like leather and he drives a Toyota.
He's 9 foot tall in Washington State. You gave him to Texas. He's another 9 feet.
That's 18 feet. So in many respects, the Hibagon is more ape-like than the Sasquatch as well. It is often described as looking like a gorilla or a giant monkey.
Okay,
And
here's the thing.
Go on.
Are they actually just talking about a gorilla?
Well, listen, it's not like there's gorillas in the forest in Japan, so that would also be kind of an out of place fella.
Yes, and gorillas don't have that very unique head shape.
Yeah, that weird reverse triangle.
They're kind of a more round head,
a
if
Doritos
you will.
2D, if you will. No? It is often described. Many reports tell of the creature moving about on all fours quite easily, which again, it sounds like you're talking about a gorilla. Some eyewitnesses even claim the animal was hopping along like a monkey. Other notable features are the Hibagon's apparent lack of fear and the absence of any sort of vocalizations in the reports. The Hibagon is mostly known from a series of sightings lasting from 1970 to 1982. It's a hell of a long sighting window. It's just sitting on a rock for 12 years.
It got to know some people. It waved at an old lady who it became good friends with.
Mm-hmm.
It would give it bread.
She got startled and shot it.
Is the bus not running today? I've been sitting here for a while.
Probably the first Hibagon sighting account occurred in early 1970 when a group of elementary school students out picking wild mushrooms in the forests of Mount Hiba were terrified to come across an ape-like creature crashing through the brush nearby. Get away from my mushrooms and my berries.
I'm making soup.
I'm making a terrible soup. My famous berry mushroom soup. That same year, in July 1970, the creature was spotted again by a utilities truck driver. The driver reported seeing a gorilla-like creature on two legs stride across a field near a dam, run across the road, and disappear into the forest. Several days later, on July 23rd, 1970, the creature appeared again. This time out of brush and long grass in front of a surprised farmer. Hello. Who described the Hibagon as being as tall as an average man, covered in black fur and having a grotesque face with piercing, intelligent eyes. Sounds like a gorilla. This sounds like a gorilla.
It does. It does. More so and more so, just like a different gorilla we haven't seen.
Or like an escaped gorilla that desperately needs your help or something. Mm-hmm. And he doesn't know how to
There's some deformations.
Yeah. The Hibagon was also sighted walking through a rice paddy near the town of Saijo around the same time. In December of that same year, strange tracks of the alleged creature measuring 21 centimeters in length were found in the snow on Mount Hiba. More tracks would be uncovered in the following years, and one of the longest trackways stretched for 300 meters. By this time, the reports were becoming well known and well publicized in the media, while at the same time, the rural residents of the area were growing increasingly uneasy about the strange animal being seen in their forests. So I can only assume that people in 1970 know what a gorilla looks like.
This isn't a new animal. Well, when was the gorilla found? This is like gorillas in the
1800s?
Yeah, this is like Gorilla in the Mist time and Jane Goodall's like heavy research. Like there were people in the jungle hanging out with them.
People are reading.
Yeah. They're the hot new animal, if you will.
Well, I don't know about that.
They're on the cover of Cosmo every week.
They were like, when else would have been the time in the 90s with Congo? I'm pretty sure the 70s was hotter. I don't know. There was a lot of gorilla
pretty hot
movies.
for gorillas. 80s was pretty hot for gorillas. Gorillas are still going pretty strong today. I mean, sort of.
There was a huge one in the most recent Transformers movie.
That's true.
Technically a robot, but still.
Harambe's last role.
Mm-hmm. Sightings continued, and area residents became so uneasy that the county, now known as Saijo Shobara, actually set up a department to deal with the phenomena. In addition to documenting eyewitness accounts and trying to get to the bottom of what was going on, the department also launched patrols around the area in hope of finding whatever was causing the reports. Kobe University conducted an investigation in the area in 1972 to try to find physical evidence of the Hibagon.
And that's how we have Kobe beef now.
And the police managed to make plaster casts at a construction site of some tracks allegedly made by the creature. No evidence was turned up by the university, and the tracks were found to be inconclusive. Sightings continued through 1972 and 1973, almost always during the summer months. So it seems like it hibernates.
We've talked about that. Bigfoot, our Bigfoot also hibernates. There's hibernates.
Mm-hmm.
More sightings in the summer, plus different locations if you see them in the winter versus the summer.
Yeah. In 1974, there was a significant spike in the amount of reports. One such sighting occurred on August 15th, 1974, when a motorist spotted a large blackish animal walking near the road on 4 legs. When the creature sensed the approaching vehicle, it is reported as standing up and walking along on 2 legs. The shocked driver then stopped the car and snapped a photo of the creature, trying to hide itself behind a persimmon tree.
Like it's just way too thick for it. It's trying to suck it in.
Go away. I'm a persimmon. I'm a persimmon. Other sightings in 1974 include a Hibagon that was spotted on a road on June 20th, 1974. The driver described it as moving along in a series of hopping leaps. On July 15th, 1974, a woman saw one near her house and described it as very ape-like, like a gorilla walking around on 2 legs, about 1.6 meters tall. There was even video footage taken of one walking along a remote mountain road. However, the footage is blurry and of poor quality. Yeah, cell phones in 1974, the camera was just terrible on them. Also,
it got better. It got better, but those were some potatoes you guys had.
Spud vision. Many tracks were also discovered in the year of 1974, including a series of footprints found on August 21st in a mountain valley. The footprints were 30 centimeters long, which is not large for a Sasquatch, but some of the biggest prints found for an alleged Hibagon. After the surge of eyewitness accounts in 1974, sightings of the Hibagon dropped off almost completely until 1980, when one was seen fleeing across a river with a bounding gait near the town of Yamano, where it has become known as the Yamagon. It was spotted in the same area again in 1981 on the road near a health center, but perhaps the most remarkable sighting of the time occurred in 1982 in Mitsugi, which is located about 30 kilometers west of Yamano. In this report, the Hibagon was described as being more along the lines of a Sasquatch in size. Estimated at 2 meters tall, but the most bizarre feature of the account was that it was said to be holding what looked to be some sort of stone tool, like an axe. Ooh. This is the only account of a Hibagon being that large or wielding any sort of tool or weapon. After 1982, sightings abruptly stopped. There are practically no reliable reports of the creature after this time.
Interesting. Very interesting. It can use tools, which I don't think Bigfoot has done some stuff, but tool making like an axe, I don't hear no report of Bigfoot with an axe. This is unique.
Yeah. So there you go.
What about that guy that got kidnapped by a family of Bigfoots? Like they were
breastfed
making
him,
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they were making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or he was lying.
I think the guy was ultimately full of shit. What do you guys think? What do you think of this? It's Japanese Bigfoot.
It gives me another reason why I want to visit Japan.
I want to go to Japan so bad.
I'm sure that land is lovely, a nice mountainous region. I like mountainous regions, and if you got a Bigfoot in them, sign me up. How's your cooking? I want to order it.
Apparently, he also has a bald butt.
Nice.
Which is fun. So, like, as he's running away from you, you see his sassy little fanny shaking around.
Now, do you think he's doing that on purpose to shock people?
Like shaving it like every other week? Yeah. I don't think so.
The time limit, or not time limit, the range does make it seem like it either died out, sadly.
Yeah.
Or this was like a one-shot hermit who got very hairy and like wore some animal skins.
Or like an escaped Bigfoot, or an escaped gorilla. An escaped gorilla that like got into the countryside and survived for a while and then eventually just died in the woods.
Yes.
I really like the idea that Japan found a Bigfoot though, and they were like, we're not telling anybody.
Sure. I think the encounter of it supposedly having a tool is really interesting. That makes me think that like maybe we're not talking about a Bigfoot at all here. Maybe we're talking about some kind of Neanderthal or some kind. What about time traveling Neanderthal?
It might just be a guy.
Falls through a hole in space and time.
Sure.
Falls through time, lands in the 70s, and he like doesn't know what to do, and so now he's living in the woods around Mount Heba, building axes, showing his ass.
Well, I can definitely see that.
Making a summer out of it.
I can definitely see that. Let's say an earthquake opens up the ground, all the energies and the lights and stuff. Bam! He climbs out. It's 1970.
Yeah.
Weirder shit has happened.
Yeah.
Says Werewolf Radar.
That's what we say. There you go. That's my segment on the Hibagon. I'm calling this segment Hibagon, but not forgotten.
Nice.
Pretty proud of that one.
You should be. That's clever. That's real quick.
That one.
I will remember you.
Nate, take it, or shall I?
I can do it. I got a thing up here.
Take us on a walk.
Take them away, toys.
Tell me if I'm wrong, but as I was reading this, have we covered the Piasa Bird before?
I don't know.
Not that I can remember, which means it hasn't been part of the last 100 episodes we've put out.
Fire it up.
All right, because it sounds similar to things that we've definitely talked about. This article, however, pretty new. This came from June 23rd of this year, just a few weeks ago, in Alton, Ohio.
Ooh.
Somewhere near the Cleve.
Yeah, the Cleve.
And granted, it is an opinion, but still has a lot of information in it. This is what was the mysterious creature reported in downtown Alton from John J. Dunphy. And they have just the worst picture of this guy.
Nice.
But if you want to look it up, it looks exactly like the person who would have written an opinion about a possible monster somewhere in Ohio.
Sure.
A woman with whom I am acquainted shared an experience she recently had while walking her dog at about 1 a.m. in downtown Alton. Please keep in mind that this column isn't a prank. I should also add that this woman is not delusional, nor was she intoxicated or stoned.
Okay.
Always a great way to open up an article.
Sure. I like to, whenever I go to like a city hall meeting, as soon as I stand up, I like to go, I'm not stoned.
It's a good way to tell people you're not stoned. So don't worry about the crazy stuff I'm going to say.
She told me that she saw a strange creature. She described it as tall, dark, and large. It had a human face, which was white in color. Its eyes glowed, and it had long black wings. She saw it fly.
Ooh, I don't enjoy that.
Yeah, that was upsetting.
Yeah. The woman lost sight of the creature, but spotted it later in a corner.
There it is.
Maybe she's misrepresenting where she was.
Yeah, where did you lose it?
The dog she was walking growled at it, which would seem to confirm the creature's existence.
Okay.
The incident occurred in the vicinity of the Dunphy building, in which my bookshop is located, so I have a personal stake in this.
I love this.
Just so everyone knows.
Come over to Dunphy's Books.
Yeah.
I shared what she told me on one of the Alton Facebook pages. One person facetiously posted, "She should talk to a police sketch artist, put the picture in the paper, and offer a reward. It may not work, but it will get Alton some publicity." Which I don't think was facetious. I think they genuinely thought, look, our tiny town could use a little bit of extra help. And
yeah.
That person was the hotel owner. There's not enough tourists coming to Alton.
Yeah.
This could be the big thing, like when Russia hoaxed that Bigfoot. Remember?
Exactly.
The hotels profited that year.
Oh boy.
They did quite well. Even though that mayor was like, yeah.
The mayor dressed up like a Bigfoot to support the hotel industry. Go into the backlogs of Werewolf Radar, werewolfradar.com. You'll find the news.
I was hardly surprised when my post drew comments such as "Piasa Bird has returned" and "Descendant of the Piasa Bird."
This bird's got a cult.
Which I'll get into. Actually, the cryptid fandom version of it in a second. The woman described this winged creature as having a quote-unquote human face. As a matter of fact, Father Jacques Marquette wrote in his journal that the strange pictographs he saw on the bluffs in 1673 near present-day Alton had man-like faces. If you happen to be watching the Zoom, it's behind me.
Oh, sorry. We talked and then
So when I shared the woman's encounter with this mystery creature on my Facebook page, my friends eagerly offered their theories. I believe her, a woman who lives in Oklahoma, wrote, "She saw something unexplainable, not human. She shouldn't go walking around at night, especially since she knows that she saw it." Which kind of, why are you putting that on her? Maybe she works during the day. She's got to go walking around at night. Come on.
Yeah.
I should mention for the record that the woman who spotted this creature is now very reluctant to walk her dog in the evening. So it was definitely scary enough to make her not do her normal thing. A lot of these people are going to be Facebook friends. A Facebook friend whose opinion I greatly respect posted, "After my experiences with the White Lady at Mineral Springs, I'd be inclined to believe she had some kind of supernatural experience." He does not go into what this White Lady is really. Just mentions that there is a White Lady haunting a place called Mineral Springs. That apparently, I guess people see.
I Googled that phrase. It seems from riverbender.com, the ghost of Alton. It may be someone who was drowned during a birthday party.
Oh boy.
Perfect.
But apparently there's multiple ghosts of this place. It's a hotbed for activity.
Several commentators on my page, as well as the old page, made references to Mothman, which this person decides to call a creature who was headline news decades ago, but has since slipped into obscurity.
Maybe for you.
Yeah, you don't have a pillow of him.
You don't have a full-size body pillow you're in a moe relationship with.
There's nothing wrong with it.
No,
it's consensual.
Hey, look.
And that
look at my pillow.
Indrid Cole.
Yeah.
He goes on to talk a little bit about the Mothman Prophecies movie.
Did you know that for a long
Richard
time
Gere's best.
I thought that it was the Nothman Prophecies? That was about a guy named Nothman. And I didn't understand
And
why
his
everybody
prophecies.
was talking about it. And then I one day realized it was Mothman, and I was like, oh, fucking idiot.
Like Spider-Man, but a different insect.
Yeah.
It took me honestly forever to get into it because I thought it was a legitimate like horror gore film. And until I actually learned who Mothman is,
Right.
I stayed away from that movie. Also, weirdly enough, more people died in real life than what the movie tells you.
Oh.
When the Silver Bridge collapsed, if you're not familiar with the Mothman story.
How many do they say happens in the movie?
They say that like 37 people died or some shit, and it was like near 50 people.
Plus?
No,
Okay.
it was 50.
Right.
But still, the movie's
I
all
thought
like
it was way more.
less people did, and why wouldn't the movie go more? Anyway, media, you're crazy.
What a weird focus grouped number.
You find that 37 is the number that doesn't freak people out.
Anyway, moving on. Nonetheless, a friend posted, I live in Point Pleasant, home of the Mothman, and it could be a sighting. There was another sighting in Las Vegas of a similar creature just a couple of days after a meteorite struck nearby. But presto, I'm seeing similar reports and articles across the U.S. So this thing may have also been associated with some sort of cosmic intrigue.
I wonder as well if some of the sightings, one of our friends, podcast friends, Spooky Appalachia, has still does like recent Mothman sightings, and I wonder if any of these like link up.
I bet
anyway, small little shout out and thought.
Interesting theory.
Yeah, definitely check out Spooky Appalachia. It's always pretty fun. One of the most intriguing posts read, I don't know about anyone else, but I have the feeling something momentous is about to happen, and the appearance of cryptids is part of it.
Oh boy.
The lady saw what she saw, and it's not from around here.
It ain't from around here.
She's right, and she shouldn't be gaslighted for speaking about it. I don't know what it is or what to do about it.
Fair enough.
What would you do about it? As a paranormal preparedness podcast, what do we tell them to do about this?
Stay out of the ocean.
Yes, that's going to be my segment. Stay out of the ocean.
And
don't go near recently crashed meteorites.
Build a fort. Start building a fort. Remember back in the day when you were a child, the innocence of building a fort for some unseen enemy? Same thing, but the enemy is cryptids.
The next
pretty unfortunate fort building story that I'm not going to bring up here.
that was the dark silence in the stare that only the YouTube got to see. Nate entered a time long ago where he barely survived,
but not long enough.
Some people that got stabbed by nails were involved.
Oh boy.
Nate, don't go back there. The therapy, Nate.
Oh, the TheraFriend. Speaking of friends, the article goes on to say an upstate friend who described herself as an advocate for reason theorized that the woman had seen a large owl, that she hadn't identified as such because of the darkness and distance from which she viewed it.
They always think it's owls.
And owls can get pretty big, and their faces weirdly human, some of them, like a barn owl.
Their faces are strange, but I mean, are they that strange?
Would you have cornered this thing somehow? If it was an owl, wouldn't it just, unless it was injured, in which case you would recognize an injured animal.
I guess
also, I don't hear, unless I just didn't hear it, there's no sounds of flapping, right?
They have not made mention of any flapping noise.
Which, if it was an owl, you would be hearing that flapping. Like owls aren't like silent flappers. They got big wings and it makes a lot of sound.
Owls
shut
are
up,
specifically
Nate.
super silent.
Yeah, shut up, Jordan. Stop.
Whichever one you are. But if it was an owl, it would have one of those graduation caps on, and it would be crunching on a Tootsie Pop. Wow,
exactly.
what an
It'd be
ancient
counting to 3,
reference.
the only number it knows.
Yeah, the main number.
Shut up. Owls are silent. I hate this.
Because of their forward-facing eyes, owl faces have a human aspect, she noted. The faces of barn owls are strikingly pale. If a barn owl was roosting on a post of some sort or a small tree or a shrub, its face could be at the height of a tall human. But again, this woman saw it twice, and the second time her dog got involved.
The dog got involved.
Not that I'm trusting the dog.
You should always trust the dog. Why would the dog lie to you? A treat? Are you trying to bribe the dog?
I trust all dogs.
If the creature was indeed a barn owl, she wrote, the woman was lucky it didn't call. The call of a barn owl is generally described as the scream of a woman being murdered, which might have frightened her to death.
Oh, boy.
Oh, I hate that. Yeah.
Anyway, this John J. Dunphy goes on to say, I choose to believe my upstate friends solved the mystery. A barn owl in the neighborhood of the Dunphy building I can deal with. A cryptid, not so much.
And not so much.
I get that. A barn owl is a common occurrence. They make poisons for that. Or if you want to do it humanely, they make sticks for that. And you can shake the stick at the owl.
Yes, 1 vial of owl poison, please.
And here's the thing that he has to say about himself in his little bio at the bottom of this article. John J. Dunphy is the author of Unsung Heroes of the Dachau Trials.
Oh, boy.
The investigative work of the U.S. Army 7708 War Crimes Group 45 to 47.
All right. That's not so bad.
Anyway, the Piasa Bird, which is possibly what it is. This is a bird also called the evil spirit, or the bird that devours men. Is a fire-breathing winged creature, possibly a dragon, featured in the legends of the Illinois tribe.
Okay.
Again, you can see that on my background if you're watching the YouTube. The creature was said to have snatched members of the tribe living near the river. Doesn't say what river, but probably
maybe all of them in a large region.
Alton.
All rivers.
It had a shuddering scream that was said to shake the earth below. This is apparent. Even though it's not likely that anyone would miss it, it's very sneaky and mischievous. When you hear the scream of the beast, you're dead.
Oh, boy.
You're dead.
Too late.
You burned.
Even though it had one weakness, it was very hard to take down the beast. It took years and blood spilled just to find out what that weakness was.
Ooh, I can't wait. Share the secret.
Guesses? Any guesses on what the weakness is?
I think farts. I think peanuts and farts. Nate?
Peanuts and farts.
Well, it's trickery, really.
The greatest secret weapon of all.
We'll just jump straight to the legend here. A village.
What a fucking cop-out. It's one weakness. Again, getting tricked.
This is the second time that we've gone to cryptid.fandom.
Right.
I'll wait till my segment. I go there 6 times.
Oh, boy.
In any case, we're skipping some of the less well-written parts.
Fair.
To go to some not well-written parts.
Yeah, but better in content.
The village Again, no mention of where this village might be, but
Alton,
we can
Ohio
assume
area.
around Alton. Was a secure and happy place. Chief of the Illinois was Watauga. He was old and had led his tribe in the ways of peace for most of his lifetime. Watauga and his people loved their home and their way of life.
Except for one drunken summer when he led them in the way of violence.
Then, yeah. Then one morning, as the sun began to climb towards the summit of its cloudless sky, terror touched the Illinois. That's their rhyme, not mine. But I seem to not be able to stop doing it. The village stirred. A number of younger braves were leaving on an early morning fishing expedition. Some were already on the river in their canoes, others preparing to embark, when suddenly the very earth seemed to shudder with the sound of an alien scream.
Fishing expedition.
The Piasa Bird attacked and took one of the braves, and after that it got worse. It came back picking off one by one. The village felt helpless. They turned to their chief to find a solution to the disaster. The creature seemed invulnerable, and even the greatest of the village could not beat it.
Except to tricks.
Watauga appealed to the Great Spirit. For nearly a full moon, he prayed and fasted. Then in a dream, he found the answer. The body of the Piasa Bird was not protected under the wings.
Ah.
After all, it's a very smog-esque situation.
Sure. There's a bear patch.
Yeah. After offering thanks to the Great Spirit, Watauga called the tribe together and devised a plan that could destroy the Piasa Bird. They fastened and sharpened their arrows, waiting for the beast to come to the village to snatch up another person. Suddenly, the scream of the Piasa Bird broke the silence, and the winged monster swept into view. Immediately, it sighted Watauga, and with what seemed a shriek of delight, it pounced. As it did, Watauga fell to the ground and grasped the strong roots that grew there. The pain of the talons sinking into his flesh inspired him to grip the roots even more tightly. As the Piasa Bird raised its great wings in an effort to carry off its victim, the 6 braves stepped from their hiding place and shot 6 poisoned arrows into the unprotected place beneath the beast's wings. So poison is also part of...
Right.
And human bait.
Yeah, that's the trick.
Yeah.
You fool. You thought this was an easy meal?
I got an idea.
To sacrifice himself.
I got an idea. We'll trick it. Doug, you're going to be the trick.
Again and again, the bird raised its wings to fly, but Watauga held fast, and each time 6 poisoned arrows drove into the bird's vulnerable spot.
Oh, boy.
Finally, the poison did its job. With a scream of agony, the Piasa Bird released its hold on Watauga and plunged down the bluff to disappear forever in the swift waters of the great river.
Ah, so this was when he led them without peace. I understand now.
Yeah. Well,
it was a wild
I guess
summer.
It is kind of with peace. His whole thing is, look, let the bird come at me and I'll hold the ground so hard that it can't escape.
Yeah.
It's pacifist run for sure.
Yeah, he's not committing any violence himself.
Okay.
Carefully, tenderly, the braves carried Watauga to his teepee, where in time he was nursed back to health.
Okay.
So win-win. Then a great celebration was held in the camp of the Illinois. The next day, Tara Hayanawaka mixed paints and carried them to the bluff, painted this picture of the Piasa Bird in tribute to the victory of Watauga and the Illinois. And apparently it's tradition to shoot an arrow into this painting.
Oh.
Anytime you pass by.
Okay.
That sounds
fun.
that. Yeah.
That sounds fun.
But yeah, this very well could be the strange beast that this woman saw while walking her dog at 1 o'clock in the morning in Alton.
Could be. It's back.
And the return of a full-on monster.
She better have some poison.
Hopefully 6 arrows too. You need more than one person to take this down. Paranormal preparedness, always have a buddy.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a good move.
At the very least, you need 1 chief and 6 braves.
Yeah, you're gonna need multiple
and
classes.
Probably, I'm gonna guess, new language. But yeah, that's this segment.
Excellent.
Owl or not an owl? It's not gonna work.
You'll
Owl me
figure it out.
down,
You'll have it by
crazy
Monday.
Clown.
You big old dripping. It's now time for Ghost on the ocean, man. It's my segment. I'm taking the skull from you.
Ocean Ghost.
So I was having fun thinking about Antarctica.
Just wistfully gazing off of your porch.
Which is one of the most what am I trying to say? Difficult to navigate areas in the world. Very rough currents over there. Lots of occurrences of weird
Antarctica and downtown Manhattan. Am I right?
Ooh. I don't even
lots-
understand why people in Antarctica own cars. What do you do?
And when you type, what do you do? That's a good question. Think about it, listeners. All right, write your answer down in the comments of our YouTube page. Let us know what you do.
If it's follow Shackleton, you guessed all 3 of our guesses.
So when you Google Antarctic mysteries, you find a lot of stuff. You find pyramids, you find Nazis, you find all sorts of fun. But I was most interested this week about all the fucking ghost ships and shit.
Oh, there are ghost ships and shit down there.
There's all sorts of stuff in Antarctica. That's why only scientists get to go.
Mm-hmm. They're trying to keep Antarctica from you people.
There are also janitors.
Yeah,
This is true.
Scientists and janitors are the only humans on our Antarctica. And then that took me to this list of ghost ships from all that's interesting. We have a few good ones you might know of. The SV Kaz 2, which was a 12-meter catamaran that was sailing around Australia. The bottom part of it near Antarctica with a 3-man crew in 2007 was found drifting 88 nautical miles off the coast 5 days later. The boat was in perfect condition. One sail was a little bit shredded, but no one found any of the men. And supposedly there's legend that they just had food out, like they just vanished.
The old lunch set, but nobody ate it. Sea madness, obviously. We solved it.
Yeah, you can't go anywhere with a 3-man crew.
There's
what about
you can go somewhere with a 1-man crew.
That's true. He's got you there.
Huh?
If you plan on succumbing to sea madness,
that is kind of what happened in one case that I'm not going to go over, but it was interesting. The Tynemouth Electron was a 41-foot Tiburon sailing vessel, and it was used in the Sunday Times 1968 Golden Globe single yacht race around the world. And it was discovered without its captain 252 days later in Jamaica. And that tale gets crazy because it involves cheating on this world competition and then
and his wife, who he was running from.
Yeah.
And they found a 25,000 word manifesto on the book, ending with information that the captain, who realized that winning this race, which he was going to, and cheating, they would recheck his journey and see that it was lies. So he committed suicide in disgrace and wrote a 25,000 word manifesto.
Okay.
But what we're talking about that's unusually creepy, and we've talked about it before, but it's been a while, the tale of the SS Ourang Medan.
The Ourang Medan. I know this
The
one.
Ourang Medan. Supposedly, the SS Ourang Medan was a ghost ship found 400 nautical miles southeast of the Marshall Islands in 1948 when an American ship found the boat. It was littered with the bodies of the crew and then caught fire shortly after it was boarded and sank. According to reports,
do love to catch fire.
According to reports, the vessel was sailing from a small Chinese port to Costa Rica and deliberately avoided the authorities.
Interesting. I didn't know that part.
Reports, well, we're going to learn a lot about it. So we've told you the phenomenal legend of the Ourang Medan, but I found some information that goes deep into it. This is one of them. There was supposedly, as we said, they avoided authorities, which is shady, possibly leading to smuggling. The reports say that a sole German man survived the accident and that the crew of the vessel was killed by improperly storing sulfuric acid, supposedly. But let's delve deep into this for the ending of this episode of Werewolf Radar. This is the chilling story of the SS Ourang Medan, the ghost ship whose entire crew died with faces frozen in terror. This is from Neil Patmore from allthingsinteresting.com.
Is this why you have George Lucas and Carbonite?
This is. So this image is from a Spanish website covering the same thing. And I've noticed a lot of celebrities in Spanish paranormal thumbnails. I think it's because it's more interesting than just having a stock man wearing a plaid shirt going, But that's how we Americans do it. Stock photos, plaid shirts, scared businessman searches.
I mean, this is quality description of John J. Dunphy.
This is the ship that was supposedly found. The SS Ourang Medan reportedly exploded in the Strait of Malacca sometime in the 1940s after its crew died under mysterious circumstances. Now, in the 1940s, a story began circulating in the newspapers around the world. A ship called the SS Ourang Medan had reportedly exploded near Indonesia after its entire crew died under mysterious circumstances. Some said the vessel was attacked by pirates. Others claimed it was smuggling dangerous chemicals that suffocated the crew and caused the ship to explode. And a few conspiracy theorists even believe that the incident had supernatural causes, which truly, I've read this article and I don't give a fuck. I still believe it's supernatural causes.
It's pretty weird.
I mean, I think all three could still be true simultaneously.
You think supernatural forces are messing with chemicals?
Pirates might have tipped over a bunch of sulfuric acid.
Weirder things have been known to happen. Since it first appeared, the legend of the Ourang Medan had been repeated again and again, but did the ship really ever exist?
Yes. It's right there. In the horrifying pictures.
Well, Jordan, I'm sorry. This is just a random ship. And the name of the ship is behind me. It reads something like the Talterra.
What in the world?
But that is George Lucas, though. And we froze him in carbonite. We got him.
Nice. We got him. We got him, folks.
What do we do with him now? Let us know in the comments.
What do you do with a drunken Lucas? Early in the morning.
So the story of the SS Ourang Medan differs depending on the source, but one of the most popular versions of the tale states that the ship was traveling through the Strait of Malacca at some point during the 40s. It was wild. This is according to Ripley's. Of Ripley's, believe it or not.
Oh.
Not Ripley's pool parlor on 7th.
A good pool parlor.
A good pool parlor, though.
Believe it or not.
And man with a lot of crazy legends. Another ship that was nearby picked up a strange message coming from the Ourang Medan that says, "We float, all officers, including the captain, dead in chart room on the bridge."
Weird. We float.
Probably whole of crew dead. I die.
Weird.
I assume this is an attempt of could be like them trying to speak English, so it's very broken up, or as we discussed, suffocated, and I can only say so many words at a time.
Some sort of a lack of lost in translation situation.
An American vessel called the Silver Star set out to investigate. When the ship came across the Ourang Medan, a group of men boarded it to find a grisly sight awaiting them. The entire crew died, teeth bared, with their upturned faces to the sun, staring as if in fear. It's kind of like the Lucas man behind me.
Mm-hmm.
Even the ship's dog died mid-snarl.
Oh, boy.
Strangely, none of the bodies showed any sign of physical injuries.
That's sad.
The crew, it's very sad. I'm sorry to sadden everyone.
It's not your
sometimes
fault.
It needs to happen.
The aliens did it to the dog.
Now Jordan's talking. The crew of the Silver Star was about to tow the ship to port when they noticed smoke billowing from the vessel. The researchers made it to safely just before the ship exploded, which is very weird to happen just as being found.
Yeah, that's strange.
So it was like in port when it blew up.
No, this is I forgot what it's called when the ship's unmanned and just drifting, but it's just drifting in the sea 88 nautical miles from Indonesia / the Marshall Island. Reports go both ways on that, but yeah, it's just to sea kind of.
Weird. Maybe that's what we float means.
Yeah, we float just like we're
derelict. Is that what that
derelict?
is?
Thank you. They can't power. They're just floating without power. The ship explodes and the Ourang Medan sinks to the bottom of the sea, never to be seen again. And now let's go into the story. As reported by Shipyard Blog, and all this is linked with the stories. I'm going to share this in our Discord. Follow that link in our YouTube.
I'm going to only start reading Shipyard Blog.
I get all my news from Shipyard Blog.
One account of the SS
What do the
Ourang
longshoremen
Medan
have to say about what's happening in the Ukraine?
Yeah.
Weirdly, they're pro-democracy.
Huh.
I don't know why I said weirdly, but I would assume they would be more...
They believe in the law of the sea.
Yeah, weirdly authoritarian to the sea.
Yeah.
As reported by Shipyard Blog, one account spoke of a man named Jerry Rabbit. I might be pronouncing that wrong. Make it German. Rabbit reportedly washed up on shore of the Marshall Islands in a lifeboat with 6 dead crew members 10 days after the Ourang Medan exploded.
Interesting.
At which point he lost a rap battle. That's how they killed him.
That's how we went. Rapping in a battle. Arsenal would be proud.
Rapping.
He made contact with a missionary and told him a peculiar tale even of survival. Rabbit said that he joined the crew of the Ourang Medan in Shanghai. He claimed that 15,000 crates of unknown cargo were loaded to the vessel before it set off for Costa Rica. And it was only then when Rabbit realized he had joined a smuggling operation. When Rabbit heard his fellow crewmen complaining of stomach cramps, he grew suspicious. And then when a crew member died, he knew he had to find out what the ship was carrying.
Good Lord.
Metal Gear Solid style, he snuck into the captain's quarters, peeked at the vessel's logbook. He knocked out some people. He went non-lethal, though. He just knocked them out.
That's the way to do it, really.
It's how a professional Metal Gear Solid player does it. He peeked at the vessel's logbook and discovered that the crates from China held sulfuric acid, potassium cyanide, and nitroglycerin.
Well, that'll do it.
It's kind of the cocktail for everything that's been happening.
Really, truly.
Rabbit
that explains everything.
Rabbit suspected that the sulfuric acid was leaking, creating a gas that was slowly suffocating the crew. As more men died, Rabbit and 6 others sneaked away in a lifeboat. None of his
we got to get off of this. We got to get off of this farting vessel.
None of his crew members survived the journey, and Rabbit himself died soon after repeating this strange tale.
Interesting.
Aside from one story printed in the 1940s, however, there is no record of Jerry Rabbit's existence. And even weirder, there isn't a record of the ship by the name the SS Ourang Medan at all.
Yeah, because it was a smuggler's ship. It probably had like a fake name that they put on like official.
Like the day before.
Yeah, they put on like official, boat name lists that I'm sure there's a cool name, a cool word for that I can't think of.
Right.
Manifesto.
That's what happened with that weird case of the man who cheated during the World Race Yacht Competition.
Okay. So, yeah, I think there probably was an Ourang Medan, but either that was like a secret name or...
That was just a name to pass off. Like if you did research on it, it wouldn't exist, but it would pass like the Port Authority at the time.
And I base that on nothing.
No, you base it on enough information to understand that back in the 40s, though, you could do that type of shit.
I got a hunch, baby!
Like this was like before like Social Security was really like popping.
Any crime you wanted to.
Dude, seriously, this is the time like right after Bonnie and Clyde to where like this is like the age of like bank robbing and wild like investments and Army Navy dance parties with the gals.
How could we forget?
Now they make them play football separated from the cheering squad.
Army Navy dance parties with the gals.
I was thinking of 40s shit, and I was like, that's pretty 40s. Everyone's wearing the hats.
Super
they're dancing
40s.
Like
oh, yeah. They're boot scooting boogieing.
So, according to Lloyd's Register of Ships, which has kept a record of every merchant ship since 1764, no ship by the name of the SS Ourang Medan has ever been documented. Now, this does put into questions like I think if they're in business since 1764, I think they know about pirate ships.
Sure.
But I also agree with you, Jordan. This is just a fake name.
Probably why they started keeping records, because of the piracy.
And
on account of all the pirates.
Supposedly, there's no official incident reports about the ship sinking. And there's no evidence of a wreck ever found in the Strait of Malacca or elsewhere with similar description. According to Ripley's, a German researcher named Professor Theodor Seersdorfer once found... Sorry to laugh at your name, Professor. Please don't fail us. Once Theodor Seersdorfer once found a 1953 publication titled The Death Ship in the South Seas that offered evidence about the incident. The book suggested that the Ourang Medan was indeed carrying potassium cyanide and nitroglycerin, which caused it to explode.
Well, but exploding is different from everybody freezing.
Yeah.
But that could be caused by possibly the potassium cyanide leaking. I don't know that much about potassium cyanide. I know sulfuric acid will create a gas when it evaporates, and you should not breathe that in.
Right. Avoid breathing in anything with cyanide in the name.
Yes.
Going to be harmful.
Try to avoid your cyanides, but don't avoid your potassiums. Eat a banana.
Yeah, you need it.
That's some paranormal preparedness for my segment. Eat a banana. You won't cramp as much when you run from what scares you.
You goof.
If the ship sank either during or directly after World War II, the secrecy surrounding the vessel would make sense. Those materials were sensitive to be transporting at the time. This could be smuggling. Like, what am I trying to say? Government endorsed smuggling for the military.
Privateering.
They might have been moving weapons.
Yeah, they might have been moving or just stuff to make weapons, such as nitroglycerin, sulfuric acid. World War II was hell, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
However, one reported account of the ship does not mean that it truly existed. We here at Werewolf Radar go, but it's proof.
But it's proof.
Michael East, a historian and true crime writer, perhaps he writes rhymes. That's for him to tell us in the comments.
Yeah, who knows? And they're true.
There is no shipping record of a vessel under that name. Nobody came forward to say that they knew the ship or had served on her. Equally, the inconsistent dates constantly stand out. I don't know what he's referring to. We didn't go over it in this article, but perhaps we'll check into the inconsistent dates of the Ourang Medan. Nor does the changing location. Indeed, the fact that so many versions of this story have appeared over the years point to the tale of it being more fictional than truthful. However, this could just be one case that was not popularized, I think, in the medias and just kind of passed and then been retold in a game of telephone, if you will.
Well, and it might even have fallen into fable, right? Like,
for sure.
Yeah. They might just use Ourang Medan anytime a ship explodes.
In such peculiar measures.
Yeah. Right.
The first, some history, the first newspaper account reportedly appeared in the 1940s in Britain, or in 1940 in Britain, and didn't make its way to the U.S. until 1948, which it was printed in reputable publications such as the San Francisco Examiner.
Love the Examiner.
Good work for the Examiner. You guys are crushing it.
Great stuff, the Examiner.
Today, there are still many questions that remain unanswered about this mystery. So many, in fact, we are talking about it today. And that's my kind of, what am I trying to say? Update on the mysterious tale of the Ourang Medan. Survivor says that it was an illegal case, not so much paranormal, nothing flying from the sky, which I originally assumed, and freezing them. But definitely mysterious. In fact, perhaps the ship didn't exist at all.
I figured Terrarium.
But I love myself a ghost ship. I used to live on the coast. I always dreamed of a ghost ship washing ashore and skeletons coming out and us having a dance party on the beach.
Sure.
They're awesome with a xylophone.
They're one of the best, if not the best of all time. And I put the skull back in the trunk. Let me lock it up and
until next week.
Take us away.
Folks, that does it for another episode of Werewolf Radar. Thanks for chilling with us. If you really liked what we did, you can go to patreon.com/Werewolf Radar and sign up for our Patreon. You get a free episode every week. Well, not free. You've paid for it. You get an additional episode every week. You get some art. You get some fiction. You get some freaky shit from all around the world. What else? You go to twitch.com/werewolf_radar. You can watch us play video games on Mondays around about 4 p.m. Mountain Time. We usually try to make that happen.
D&D, baby.
D&D. We love to do it. And check us out on Twitter. Check us out on Threads now, if you can believe it. Check us out on friggin' werewolfradar.com. What else?
Links for everything. The Patreon, of course, patreon.com/werewolfradar, like you said. Jordan's own Instagram. Give him a like and whatnot. He's drawing great art. Nate, visit his cult. He's leading it well. No mistakes so far. No accidental dosings of poison in the Kool-Aid as of yet.
All intentional dosing.
Accidentals, yeah.
My own promotions, I don't know. Shoes. I'm going to promote shoes this week.
Wear them.
Wear them. Protect your feet. Socks optional.
You'll enjoy it. All right, and until next week, our regular old sign-off line on the count of 3.
I really thought there was going to be more to shoes.
Nah, just socks optional, baby.
Socks optional. Until next time, our sign-off line on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Punch
Punch
the
the
sky,
sky, Spaceman Joe.
Joe.